When you step into the role of a personal support worker, you become what is known as a mandatory reporter. This means that if you witness or suspect abuse of a person with disabilities, it is your duty to report it. Abuse is not always obvious. In fact, it's not always intentional. Sometimes, in a family situation, normal everyday interactions which have developed over years may take on a new significance when a family member or a friend steps into the role of a personal support worker. In this video, we'll present a couple of scenarios where Tom, a friend of the family, has become the personal support worker for Tammy, an adult child with disabilities. Her father, Mr. Willis, behaves in ways which cause Tom to re-examine his perception of their family dynamic. So without further ado, we'll let our actors take it away. Action!
Hi Tammy, how you doing?
Hi.
How's
Good.
your week going?
Oh, really good.
Good. How's work?
Oh, good. I had a pizza party.
I know that your pizza's one of your favorites.
Yeah, I love pizza.
And there's something else I know you love. It's coming up in a few days. It's the fair. Do you have money put aside so that you can have some food there and go on rides, tickets?
No.
No? Well, I thought we budgeted so that you had money available for that.
Yeah. I'm broke, though.
Well, where'd the money go?
Oh, crazy. Oh, man. Mall was nuts. But you guys gotta see what I got. You gotta see this. Check out this really cool DVD.
Hi, Mr. Willis.
Oh, hey, guys. Hey, Tom.
So I was talking to Tammy, and she's saying that she doesn't have any money left for the fair. I thought we put that aside for her.
Oh, yeah, well, we had a couple of extra bills this month, and we needed to use some of our money to take care of that.
I didn't know about those bills.
Well, I'm sorry. They just came up, and we just needed to take care of it. I'm sorry. You know, I'm your payee, so you know I need to
But
do
I
what I
wanted
need
to
to
go
do.
to the fair, Dad.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Sorry, Tammy. Your dad is your payee, and if he did need the money for something else, then, well, I guess it was his decision to make.
Yeah.
Well, it seems we have a situation here. Dad has spent Tammy's money. Tammy's disappointed that she can't go to the fair. Our service provider, who's been a friend of the family for a long time, knows that the easiest thing to do is just sit back and go with the flow. But right now, he's in the role of a service provider, and he needs to look at the situation in a new way. Let's give him a pair of magic glasses. There. That should help bring things into a new perspective.
I hate the mall. Hate it. I hate it. I never want to go back again.
Mr. Willis.
Hey, guys.
I was sitting here talking to Tammy, and she was saying that her money that she had budgeted aside for the fair is no longer available. It's gone.
Yeah, we had we had a couple of extra bills we needed to pay, so we just had to use some of our cash to do it.
You know, I've known you guys for a long time, but now that that Tammy is my employer, I do have a job to do.
Tom, she's got a roof over her head, she's got clothes on her back, she's got food in the kitchen. She's fine. It's not that big a deal. We've done it this way a few times. It's okay.
So, I am a mandatory reporter, and that means if I see something that's not right, and that includes something in the budget, then I do have to report it.
I guess I see your point. Okay, all right. I'll ask you from now on, okay?
Notice what our service provider has done. He's defined his role and advocated for his customer. Does Mr. Willis's mishandling of Tammy's money constitute financial abuse? Maybe, maybe not. That would be for an investigator to decide. It's quite possible that Mr. Willis did what he did without any malicious intent. It's also possible that Mr. Willis has been using her money for his own gain. Once again, that would be up to an investigator to determine. What is important for now is that our service provider has viewed the situation differently and has acted in the interest of his employer. Good job, Tom. While we have our actors together, let's take a look at another scenario. Action!
Hey Tammy, you want to learn to make salmon? It's a lot of fun. Do you like lemon?
Yeah.
Lemon is really good on salmon.
Yeah.
You know what we could start with? We could have you cut a lemon if you'd like. It's okay, you can do it. Just take the knife, cut the lemon in half.
Okay.
We'll start with that, and then we'll cut a little bit further
Whoa,
down.
whoa, whoa,
from
whoa,
there.
whoa, Tammy, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm gonna make fish, Dad. He's gonna show me how.
You're
And
gonna-
I'm gonna be a chef.
You're gonna be a chef.
Yeah.
Really?
Gonna show her how to make some salmon.
Oh well, you know maybe
like
you would
fish.
yeah, I know you like fish, but maybe you want to stick with the microwave pizza. Remember last time you tried to cook something, that we had the fire alarm go off, the fire department came,
yeah.
the neighbors were standing there. I mean, it was fun and all to see the flashing lights and everything. Remember?
Yeah.
You like the flashing lights, but you know this might be a little more for her, Tom. I mean, she may just be too stupid to be a chef. I mean. Stick with the microwave pizza, okay?
Well, I already
It's-
know how to make
I
that.
know, and you're good at it, and it's easy cleanup. Yeah, I love your microwave pizza.
Okay, Dad.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Mr. Willis sure is being hard on Tammy, but he's only joking around, right? Well, joking or not, such conduct could be construed as being verbally abusive. Normally, everybody would just laugh it off, but Tom is in the role of a paid provider. So it's time to put on the magic glasses. That's better. Now let's look at that situation again.
Hey, Tammy, you want to learn to make salmon? It's a lot of fun. Do you like salmon?
Yeah.
Do you like lemon?
Yeah.
We can put some lemon on the salmon. It makes it taste really good. Why don't you go ahead and cut that one in half now? Because we're going to be squeezing more lemon onto the salmon.
Okay.
All right. Make sure you put the knife on the top right
Whoa,
there.
whoa, 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 Tam, hey, what are you, put
I'm
the knife,
making
what are you
fish,
doing?
Dad.
What are you doing with the knife?
I'm cutting the vegetables to make the fish.
Well, last time you touched a knife, you had 6 stitches in your hand, remember?
Well, Mr. Willis, she does have some supervision right now. And she just wanna
Right
make sure-
now, yeah. But what about next time?
I won't do it without him.
Or you can always help as well.
Well,
Is-
last time she tried to cook, she darn near burned the house down.
Well, as long as we teach her proper safety and we continue to teach her that, everything should be okay.
I don't know, man.
She's capable of learning it, and she's
She's
capable,
capable, and she's capable of using the microwave. She can make ramen noodles. She can make chili. She can make pizza, burritos. She loves all that stuff.
I always eat that. I want to be able to cook fish.
And it's also healthier not to always eat microwave food. In the long run, it's going to be better for her all the way around.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
We can make a list for her. That will help out with the safety.
Tom, knock yourself out.
Okay. Okay. We can do this. All right. So go ahead and finish cutting that lemon right there.
Okay.
We'll get that ready to be put on.
Did you notice that Tom was able to advocate for his employer in a way which was affirmative? He didn't argue with Mr. Willis, but he did challenge Mr. Willis's behavior by presenting an alternative of encouragement. Once again, in a situation like this, Mr. Willis's behavior may simply be his way of showing concern for his daughter's safety. Or he may actually be a jerk. Either way, it would be up for an investigator to decide if his behavior constitutes abuse. What is important for now is that Tom was able to break out of the accepted patterns of the family dynamic and act like a professional doing a job. He recognized a questionable situation and he advocated for his employer. Good going, Tom. People joke around. How can that become verbal abuse?
It's about intention. So if you have a culture where people tell dirty jokes, and I'm thinking of a provider who once said to me that, well, I tell those mother effers jokes because that's the way our home works, but then I get reported for it. Well, the standard that you're as a provider held to is a lot different than you are in your own family home. So maybe in your home it's okay to sit around and tell dirty jokes or racial jokes, and we certainly would like to see less of that in our culture in general. But as a provider, you can't do that because the people whom you're taking care of expect a higher level of professionalism from you. Plus, we don't know what the impact of those jokes might be. People could act like they think it's funny, they could be laughing, but for somebody who has been sexually harassed or who has been raped or sexually assaulted or somebody who's been repeatedly exposed to racial comments, even though they might think that they're communicating to you it's okay and it's funny, it might be causing some damage internally psychologically. So that's a kind of another example of something that we would say probably would end up getting screened out. But that doesn't mean that you wouldn't want to take a look at those things and kind of say, is this really a good practice? Because there are lots of things that we do in our personal lives that are kind of okay for our families, but they're maybe not really the best practices. And so once we start receiving money to do those things for other people, at that point, we are kind of expected to change some of those and follow those best practices, because we're just really wanting to model and hold ourselves to a higher level so that the people we serve are getting better treatment.
If a service provider is in a situation where behavior might be considered abuse, what should they do?
So if we think something doesn't feel right or look right, but we're not really sure, I would say call and report it, because if your instincts are telling you something's not right, that's probably really important to pay attention to. And it's always better to be the person that over-reports rather than under-reports. Now, that said, obviously you should intervene. If somebody, I do this in public all the time, and so of course I take myself seriously. I'll be in a restaurant and I will notice somebody talking to a child or a person with a disability in a fairly abusive way. Well, we know from national research that what you see in public is like generally maybe only a quarter of what's really going on. So what you're seeing, you have to imagine, is the tip of that iceberg. So you can imagine that there's a whole lot more we're not seeing going on. So if you think somebody is acting inappropriately or talking inappropriately, or there's some weird stuff going on around money that just doesn't seem quite right, then your job should be to intervene. And if you don't think you're safe, then obviously you shouldn't stop to physically put yourself between the harm of somebody. Then you should call the police. You should make that call to 911. If something is suspected to be a crime, we say call the police. And then, of course, call and report it as abuse.
Oh, there's definitely something fishy going on. How do I make a report?
If you suspect that abuse has occurred or is occurring, you have any reason to believe that abuse has occurred, you actually have two things you can do. The system is designed that, first of all, we would like you to immediately report that incident to whoever is the designated abuse investigator in your county system. And you should all know who that is. And if you don't know who that is, you can call your county abuse program and ask them, or you can call our office, the Office of Investigations and Training, soon to be renamed, and ask them who the coordinator is for that county, who will put you in touch with your investigator. That's number one. Number two, if you suspect it's a crime of any kind, somebody's being beaten, it's sexual assault, there's theft of enough money, call the police first, 911, and then don't forget to report it to the designated abuse investigator at your county. The thing that we don't want you to do is to not report it, or to feel like, well, gosh, I need to report this to my supervisor first to find out if they think it was abuse. Let the people who are trained and who are really held accountable for making those decisions be the ones to make those decisions. Don't try to make them yourself, and don't feel like your supervisor or somebody who has some sort of authority over you can tell you to report or not to report. It's better that two people report than to pass that buck off to somebody else and let them make that decision on your behalf.
Do you have any advice for new providers?
It's probably really a good time to sort of sit down with those friends and family and people who know you as this person and explain to them, okay, so here's the deal. Things are changing now. I'm now a licensed provider or a certified provider or whatever it is. I'm now on contract. And so I want you to know that I have to make some changes because I'm a professional, and I really encourage us to really think of ourselves as professionals. I think providers are the least respected profession out there, and they deserve to be much more highly respected. So until we begin to say with pride, I'm a provider, I'm being paid to do this, and this is a really hard job, and expecting people to treat us differently, they're not going to. So the more you can help people understand, especially friends who think, man, come on, you're being boring, you're such a drag now. Well, guess what? I'm not really able to do this anymore because now I'm a professional caregiver. I am professionally helping other people, and I've learned some things in the course of doing this job that tell me that maybe some of the choices that I was making before, the behaviors that I was doing before, need to evolve and adapt into something else.
Let's recap what we've learned. When you step into the role of a paid provider, you need to look at things through the eyes of a professional doing a job. Behaviors which may have been taken for granted in the past may suddenly seem questionable. Remember that it's your job to advocate for your employer, and it's also your job, if you suspect abuse, to report it. You're a professional. Take pride in yourself and the job you do.